This video is all about the K number, but before I talk about the K number, I am going to predict the future. Now, of course I can't, but you'd be forgiven for thinking, if you listen to everybody, and I'm talking of course about COVID-19 or coronavirus, you'd be forgiven for thinking that people can predict the future, because every day we hear about impending doom and job losses and the market going up and down, and it's going to be recovered in a V shape or a W shape, or next year or 5 years, worse than the last recession or depression. Please, you just can't believe any of that, because no one can actually predict the future. And my feeling right now is that the world, human nature, nature itself has a habit of fixing itself fast, and that the world that we live in today, the modern digital age, of course, things happen so much faster than they ever did before. However, there's so much bad news around, I think it can be a little depressing. Are we depressed? Are people depressed? I know sometimes I could allow myself, let's say, to get that way. So what I want to share with you now are 3 ways that I have for dealing with that. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the box, and I want you to imagine a real box. Of course it's a metaphorical box, but imagine a box, and you've got something bad happening, some bad thoughts, and by bad I mean something that's causing you some pain. For me, the example I have is when my father died 4 years ago, and I was preparing for the funeral and I was delivering the eulogy, and I really wanted to get through it. I knew that there was a risk I was going to break down and fail to do that. And a great friend of mine called Hannah Restlund, she told me something, I think somebody maybe shared it with her, but she told me, or she taught me a technique for dealing with this. And it's about a box that you can imagine on the mantelpiece or on the shelf. And you let yourself grieve in this particular case, for me anyway, let yourself grieve, you need to. You take all those feelings of grief and you put them, kind of in your mind, you put them in this box. You do up the box and you put it on the shelf and you leave it there. Whenever you feel like you need to grieve, go take the box, open it up and have a blub if that's what you want to do. But when you don't need to do that anymore, put those grief feelings back in the box, close the box and put it back on the shelf. And during the eulogy at my father's funeral, it's exactly what happened. Towards the end, I felt like I was going to I couldn't hold it together. I opened the box, I took those feelings that were welling up, I put them in the box. I really pictured it in my mind, and I put the box on the shelf, and I was fine to continue and finish. So that's the first thing. The second thing is about caring and not worrying. And the example I'm going to give you here is something that happened to me a few years ago. Some of you will know this example. I had a car accident. So if you're looking at the picture, what happened is I was traveling along a road at 50 miles an hour or 80 kilometers an hour. Somebody was coming in the other direction. In fact, there were 2 long queues of traffic, and he was also doing 50 miles or 80 kilometers an hour. Cut a long story short, he fell asleep, crossed the carriageway, and within a second or two we had a head-on collision. I think I was braking by then, but something around 100 miles an hour, 160 kilometers an hour. So if you're looking at the picture right now, you can see the effect of that. There's the airbag, you'll see the safety cage. Thank you to the people who designed the safety cage of that car, because it saved my life. But afterwards, I had 6 months off work, and I was, you know what, pretty depressed. The consultant who did a fantastic job on me, and largely on repairing and rebuilding my knee, had given me a pretty poor prognosis though, and I think I was told afterwards partly because someone has tried to sue him before. How mad is that? So he actually said, you're not really going to walk that well, you certainly won't run, and you won't do the sports you can do, and you won't be able to kneel because you can't bend your knee beyond 90 degrees and you just fall over. I had some weeks in a wheelchair, I was on crutches, and I was feeling really low. My family, of course, were really looking after me and very loving and caring, but I needed some help from somebody. And my doctor did a great thing, a great service, because he recommended me, or he pointed me towards a physio. And the name of this physio is Fiona Phillips, and she was the first physio to a rugby club in England. Anyway, she was used to dealing with athletes, backs, shoulders and knees, and in my case it was a knee. But more than that, I didn't expect this help, I was depressed. I thought I'd never really walk again. I'd had a long time off work by now. I didn't feel like, what was the point in fact? Pretty bad. She was incredible, because she got into here and she eventually, to cut this long story short, she said, "Do you trust me and are you prepared to work?" And I did trust her because she was an expert and I was prepared to work. And she pushed me and she got me walking in swimming pools every day to strengthen my leg, doing a lot of exercises every day for months. And as a consequence to that, well, I don't think people really notice the limp that I have. I can't do some things, but I am fine. But the main thing it gave me was this hope. She gave me hope beyond what anybody else could give me. And the thing I learned, and that picture that I showed you, I often, when I have an office, I have it on my wall, and when I think something's going wrong, I just need one look at it and I think, care, but don't worry. And I deeply care about many things, family and my job and the people I work with and my customers, but I don't ever worry. I never go to bed worried. And particularly because most things that I think, worry about, we can't control. And this leads me on to the final thing. So the first thing is the box, second thing is care but don't worry, and the third thing is the caring part. And Barack Obama, if you watch my previous video, you'll recall that. Barack Obama, with his "be kind and be useful" phrase, well, it's this "be kind" phrase that I now want to focus on finally. And the K number. So you've heard of the R number. The R number is all about the reinfection rate at the moment. If it's below 1, it's great. So below 1, if we're infected, we infect fewer than one person and slowly it diminishes. Fantastic. I don't find that so motivating. I want to focus on a new thing, which is the K number. And if K, the kindness number, is greater than 1, we'll be fine. So how do you get the K number to be greater than 1? Go help someone. And I like to define the K number being equal to 1 as if you help one person, or any of us help one person a week. K, in my view, equals 1. If everybody could help one person every week, and K is 1, but if some of us can help more than one person a week, or maybe a person every other day, K will be greater than 1. And if you understand maths, if K is greater than 1, then we will quickly infect the whole population with a feel-good factor. So if you're feeling bad, in my view, one of the best things you can do is forget about you, forget about your feelings, and go just help somebody else. So a random act of kindness, someone ideally not in your close family, someone who's not expecting it, and you go out of your way to do something nice and kind for them. Trust me, if you're feeling bad, go do that, you will feel great. But if you're the recipient of this kindness, you're going to feel great too. And then you do something called paying it forward. So say thanks for that, but go find someone else and go help them. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're feeling down, you're maybe facing job loss, maybe the loss of a friend or someone close, family member, maybe you've lost your job, maybe you feel there's no hope. Well, there is. Don't let this bad view of the future get you down, because trust me, it will not work out like that. And if we could all raise our spirits and help each other, we'll be in a much better place. Thank you for watching.